and so it wasn't legal tender. That's what clearly established looked like. That's what qualified immunity looks like.
Well, as a big fan of Tom Sowell, who reminds us that in so many cases in human affairs, we don't have solutions, we have trade-offs.
Yeah.
And there's no way that you're going to have any sort of rule, law, regulation that's going to keep bad people from doing bad things.
Of course.
And I think we have to realize what the trade-offs are. And qualified immunity is currently interpreted. I think it's certainly the very bad trade-off, and I think that we can improve. One point, if I may, and I've got to do this. I think if we were to adopt a much more libertarian perspective on what should be illegal or criminal, if we got rid of so many laws that criminalize private behavior, so many of these situations just wouldn't occur.
Yes,
so again, an overarching point is if we don't have so many things that are criminal because they don't actually involve rights violated behavior, many of these problems are going to go away, or at least to be of a much lower level of difficulty.
100%.
Medical malpractice laws and liability doesn't stop surgeons from performing surgery. It stops them from performing surgeries drunk, well, most of them, or high on drugs, or most of them, because every time a surgeon cuts into somebody for a surgery, even be a minor surgery or a major surgery to remove cancer, they run the risk of their patient dying on the table. If they do everything right, follow their training, and they might get sued because their patient died, but their insurance company is going to defend them because they did everything right, and if they followed their training. If they don't follow their training and they do stuff wrong, like perform surgery drunk or high, and their insurance companies may cut the people that sue them a check. But then, the next thing that insurance company is going to do, drop them like a bag of rocks because it's too much of a liability for them. They become uninsurable, as Spike spoke of earlier. So just doing away with qualified immunity or making it tougher to get qualified immunity isn't going to stop cops from being able to do their jobs effectively. It's just going to hold them more accountable under the law when they do something wrong.
Yeah.
The last question I have, because we only have about a minute left, but I'd be curious if any of you believe that they should have a level of immunity, but just a modified, or if you're all like, basically everything without qualified immunity is enough and that works and you don't need anything additional.
If it's in their scope of duty and they had to do it and they didn't violate anyone's rights, then yeah, I mean, I think that should cover it. And I don't think there needs to be anything additional because their jobs can be scary. Loggers' jobs can be scary. I think the people most likely to die while working are like pizza delivery drivers. Like their jobs are scary. All of us could potentially have a scary job if we're interacting with the public. Who here has ever worked in retail? Okay, yeah. So that can get scary, but you don't get to like beat the person up because they didn't comply when you told them to put the shirt back or whatever, or to whatever. But they shouldn't have special protections just because their job is scary. There are a lot of scary jobs.
I mean, under common law, there are protections against situations where people, as you say, scope of duty. There are common law protections, and I don't think that again the entire panoply of things associated with qualified immunity, we don't need them.
No.
And I agree with those two guys that we don't need qualified immunity because we already have immunity in place for officers and public officials that do their jobs and do their jobs as well, and they're to very well and do it with a kind heart and a servant's heart.